beg your pardon on the last section, reversed before the race, so it is actually fast to slow. So Sophie Farley, who's going to start the outside, is ready to go. And by the way, just to paint a picture of what she has done at Jack Tom's track, 6 for 6 in her career, winning the 800, 1500, and the mile. Combination of all of them. 4:51 PR for the Lancer at a Longwood. First runner in program history to break the 18-minute mark in the 5K. Has just done a little bit of everything for that program. We'll read you the rest of the list. Bailey Red Armstrong, national competitor for Southern Virginia. Rainey Mayo and Sophia Park for Liberty. Cora Ginsell, Kaylee Diedzina, and Kaylee Tanner for Radford. Amy Newman for Southern Virginia. Sarah Bland for CNU. Carly O'Toole for Meredith. Courtney Mudd for CNU. Emma Hillam of Southern Virginia. And Winter Tejan, newcomer for Lynchburg.
You were telling me some good things about Winter Tejan. Excited about her career. You know, classical thinking says think about the race beginning, middle, end. I think you see an early positional fight, then the middle portion you kind of settle into place, and then obviously the ending phase is when you get that kick. But you don't know how long each phase is going to be, Evan. I think we have entered that second phase, though, with one lap under our books. I think everybody's kind of settled in where they're going to be. We'll see how much shuffling we see until the final lap or maybe even that final 400 meters.
No doubt about it. Farley has stuck on the rail. Bailey Red Armstrong on the outside. What an impressive performance she's had in this last year. The Utah native, 6 USA South individual titles in the first night under the 17-minute mark in program history. Pair of program record holders near the front. And you got to feel like Sophie Farley, who hasn't lost a race on this track, is going to have a little extra confidence.
I would assume so. And, you know, she's a runner, and we've seen already in some races today, she can win the race in that second phase. She can just get so much of a gap between herself and the rest of the field that it doesn't matter how strong the kick might be. But right now, she's only got about a stride length or two in front of her main adversaries in this one, and really shoulder to shoulder, actually, now that I see him coming out of that turn here down the straightaway.
Undefeated and undisputed for the last 2 years. Can Bailey Red Armstrong pull the feat to deny a seventh? 228 through 800. This one could speed up considerably in the next 2 laps. Farley starts to make the move to the front.
Yeah, I wonder if we look deeper in the field for somebody like a Sophia Park or Mayo, both from nearby Liberty University. Do they have enough to just kind of lurk there and wait to see how that battle for the lead unfolds and then perhaps make their move, as we were saying, in the final phase of the race?
Rainey Mayo, 4:56 PR. How many can dip under the 5-minute mark as Farley leads the charge on that back straightaway? Bailey Red Armstrong not out of the picture, and it's going to be the final lap and a half to decide it. Sophia Park of Liberty perhaps ready to make the move, as you alluded to, Kyle.
That's a thing about running with those greats up front. You do get compelled to run shoulder to shoulder, and sometimes you gas out a little bit early just by trying to keep up with their pace. That's the discipline of being able to run your own race and run your own pace and then kick when you need to. But Bailey Red Armstrong's not going anywhere at all. Again, about a 3-foot gap between her and the leader, Sophie Farley. Pardon me.
A tight 3-headed race as we go into the final lap. 3:43 on the clock. Farley a few steps ahead, a 5-minute pace. She's ready to explode out of a cannon into the final lap. Sophia Park right now sits second, but she didn't waste any time around the curve.
Well, I think we saw Farley see the time and know that it was the final lap and say, okay, it's go time now.
This is incredible stuff from the sophomore, who just keeps setting records year after year throughout her running career. 200 meters left, 4:18 on the clock. No one else in the picture. At the drop of a hat, sets a 30 to 40 meter gap on the field, and it's only climbing. Of course, the mile is not an outdoor event. You qualify for the 1500. You got to feel like there's a little pride involved when you have the full 4 trips around. Sophie Farley leaving the field as she trots towards the final 100, and all of a sudden 4:52 shines on the clock, just over that personal best.
Liberty's Park and Mayo will round out the podium there, second and third. Good race from them, but the show was definitely Sophie Farley's again.
Second section of the mile up and away. Sophie Farley, to no surprise, avails once again, make that 7-0 if you're counting individual victories on this track.
Yeah, and I know it's one of those things where she's going to win a lot at any track she shows up at. Anytime she laces up, she's a threat to win. But certainly to go 7 for 7 in a facility, it'd be fun to dig into the archives and find out, you know, who's got longer streaks, especially when it's not your facility. I mean, it's one thing when you're running multiple home meets, but when you're 7 for 7 in somebody else's ballpark, that is really impressive.
You find some athletes over time that are just looking for one individual victory.
Right.
To do it 7 times at the same place, saying something a little extra special.